Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety splicket. Go watch a movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 130. I thought we're just trucking along. I love it. Today we are doing a weird little movie. I think it's okay to say it's weird. And I want to go ahead and apologize right now if I say anything insensitive during this podcast episode.
I was going to say that because sometimes I say stuff and it comes out wrong. I was like, you could have a field day. I know you're going to make jokes the entire time, but
yes,
it's okay.
We're not going to get into it yet. That's coming up. It's called Swallow. And I know your minds are already in the gutter. It was actually one of Robert's trailers in a past episode. Yeah. So, but before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. Well, as you all know, we are going through a epidemic right now, so news is scarce, but the news still is flowing in. So I have been poo-pooing Black Widow because of my prequelitis. I think that's a word for a thing. But Feige came out a little bit ago about Black Widow, and I think earlier this week actually about Black Widow, and wanted to put people at ease that it is of course coming out and just been pushed back, which I'll get to in the next story. But he also wanted to say we have hinted at Natasha Romanoff's backstory throughout all the other films. We approach in a completely unexpected way. She's been up to a lot all along, and in between when we see her in the other movies, some of which will be surprising to people. Apparently they have some surprises for us.
I hope so. I mean, who doesn't like surprises? Especially in this, because I feel like this movie, like you said, being a prequel, sort of, kind of, isn't exactly what it is, isn't really going to blow anybody's mind. And I feel like the Marvel movies have always tried to up the ante a little bit. So they need to tie them in with the other ones or do something to make them more so than just another money grab of, this is Black Widow doing something cool.
Agreed. Of course, I want to see her do cool stuff, which she is good at. Her and Hawkeye together.
I want to see Taskmaster. I'm kind of I wasn't really a huge fan of that particular character, but now that I have matured, I can see the value of his ability.
So when that last trailer came out, they showed him kind of doing every other Avengers abilities, which is like. Which makes me curious as to what time period this is set in. Because I don't think they're going to go like super far back. Clearly she's been working with the Avengers as Feige hinted at in that little article. So I don't know if this is like right before Endgame, right before the snap, when this is. Where do you think? Where do you guesstimate?
I'm not exactly sure. And they could fit it in anywhere because there's always a moment where like somebody isn't there. So, yeah. I mean, I have no clue. I'm just going to wait and be surprised.
Same. I don't want to dig too deep into it because, it is Marvel. So, They, like you said, they are full of surprises all the time. Next up, we have some dates. Marvel and Disney have basically been forced to put everything back, push everything back, move everything around. It's It sucks, but it has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So first and foremost, I'm sorry.
But just think of the like when things start to roll again, man. We should be just getting stuff back to back to back to back. I mean, we're not going to be wanting for anything. There's going to be so much material out there that they're going to be wanting to shove out to get,
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. This is really killing Disney Plus, which we'll get into during the Let's Discuss the Showbiz. But yeah, so Black Widow, as we discussed, got pushed back November 6th, 2020. February 12th, 2021 is The Eternals. May 7th, 2021, Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Rings, and The Legend of the Rings, hopefully they're finally going to introduce correct Mandarin. We can only hope.
Mm-hmm.
But November 5th, 2021, Doctor Strange 2. February 18th, 2022, Thor Love and Thunder. That's a ways away.
Mm-hmm.
May 6th, 2022, Black Panther, and July 8th, 2022, Captain Marvel. Yeah, those are some adjustments. Anything you wanted it sooner, or how do you even feel about this Phase 4 lineup?
I'm skeptical just because I loved what they've already done. And once that gets in your heart and you feel that's how it should be, you're a little apprehensive of what's going to be next, but still I'm excited to see more because thinking that that's going to end, being that that's been such a huge thing for me, it's kind of sad. So I'm glad they're continuing on, and I hope it lives up to what they've already done. Agreed.
They have a lot to live up to. Big T's going to be hard to topple. Mm-hmm. I'm not particularly chomping at the bits for any of those specific movies.
Yeah. But the thing is, I was like that with Guardians of the Galaxy until I saw it. I was thinking,
and that's one of my favorites now.
Yeah. Then I'm like, I mean, what is this? And then all of a sudden you see it and you're like, holy crap. So I'm open to all these other ones that I'm not super familiar with or think would make a good movie because they did such a good job with that. So I'm excited to see what they do.
That's true. Why would we doubt them? They have turned, I don't want to say trash, some cases unusable product into masterworks. So
they figured out a pattern that they could use, and which is kind of sad in a way that they use the same kind of pattern
formula.
The same formula, but it works, and I haven't gotten sick of it yet, so I'm just going to keep eating it up.
Yeah, same here. Yum yum yum.
Just like a baby with a bottle. Give me more.
Sorry. I caught me in the giggle box. We don't often discuss rumors and gossip and hearsay on this podcast, but there has been a case that we have been following. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. So a while ago, she came out and said that he abused her. He lost a lot of stuff, lost a lot of endorsements, movies. He basically went downhill, at that point. A lot of people were getting tired of him for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into that. But then it came out that she, in fact, was abusing him, allegedly. Cause I don't want to get sued. But now, in that case, more information has come out in that case. She could face up to 3 years in prison for doctoring evidence against him.
That's a good thing.
Pretty wild, man. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, you should be in trouble for that, but man, this is the redhead chick in Aquaman, whose name I can't think of right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a shame, but also, especially when your personal relationship spills out over into the real world, and then you can affect people's jobs and all this stuff. But at the same time, you don't want somebody saying something that isn't true. Every time somebody says something like that, I would like to be able to believe them. And unfortunately, you have people allegedly that make these things up, so you don't necessarily want to automatically believe everything you hear, which is sad because these things are bad. You don't want any abuse, blah, 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 going on out there. So It's better to just be honest all the time. I mean, let's not. Why do people have to do this?
Agreed. There's no reason to, like, I don't know what, maybe he hurt her emotionally, allegedly. Maybe, I don't know, like, what would cause someone to do that to another person, knowing full well that it would affect their career.
Some people just like to be nasty. They like to get back at people, and but
allegedly.
Allegedly. So it's I feel like the world needs to be a better place, and we can all make it a better place if we just try a little bit harder.
Oh,
look at that. Oh, the world.
I guess that'll bring us to let's discuss the showbiz. You familiar with Quibi?
Quibi. Who's the video game guy? Quibi? That's Kirby. Who's that? Kirby?
Oh, Kirby?
I don't know. Who are you talking about?
Quibi is a new mobile video app.
Oh, yes. Is that the one with the little short 10-minute thingies?
10-minute shows and movies.
Yes.
Format they're rolling out. It rolled out.
Oh, and I heard they're doing it for free for a couple of months or something, aren't they?
Yeah, you get 90 days free.
90 days. Ooh. Generous.
Yes. But yeah, you get 90 days free on Quibi for signing up. So they rolled out, and people, for some odd reason, were comparing them to Disney Plus's rollout, which not the same thing at all. But I want to talk those numbers. So Quibi did 300K downloads its first rollout. It hasn't even been a week yet, but that's how much they did their opening day. Whereas Disney Plus, of course, which I said I don't know why people are comparing the two, as apples to oranges, did some million.
Right.
Now, at first I was like, okay, whatever. I don't quite understand this format. It's confusing me. Stop it. But it fits this era.
Yes, that's who it's for. It's for young people who don't have a very long attention span.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insulting. That's what it is. Like, you guys you pay attention for something for longer than 10 minutes, and we're just going to give you 10 minutes worth of content at a time.
I mean, it fits the era so well because there are YouTube clips kids watch and share around, GIFs kids watch and share around, Snapchat videos, and they're all under 10 minutes, 10 minutes range. So it's a brilliant idea, and they are getting the star power to match. Liam Hemsworth has a show on there. Kevin Hart has a Quibi movie coming out. I don't know if it's going to be, I guess all of it's 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, but they're going to do it in like 10-minute segments. Like, if it's a movie, they'll give you 10 minutes at a time. So it'll be like 10-minute chapters until they, fill out a movie.
Yeah. So they're doing it right. They're pulling off the right thing. And it's interesting. I'm very curious to see how this works, especially with a 90-day free trial. There's no reason not to try it.
Unless you're just old and grumpy like me and you don't want to try new things. That's possibly a reason.
Quabi, who ever heard of it? No, I downloaded it. I'm looking forward to checking out the Liam Hemsworth one. The trailer for that was actually pretty damn awesome. It's like Most Dangerous Game, something like that. It's like I said, it's a very interesting format, and I'm looking forward to see what it does, what they produce, how they produce, because they say all their shows are going to be movie quality shows. Mm-hmm. So that'll be extremely interesting to see if they can pull that off. Yeah, and I guess it'll be down to sponsorship, but they came out at the perfect time because wait, what else you got to do? You can try out this new thing for the next 90 days in quarantine. And kids are always on their phone or tablet anyway. So they don't have to move at all.
I'm just an old man, I guess. I'd rather put in an old, worn out VHS tape and watch it as opposed to, get out my device and then look up that and find
Watch
the video.
Little statically lines.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. That's more my speed. Sit there and rewind your tape when you're done. It takes forever. It's part of the fun.
Until they got the reminders, the tape reminders that came separately. Oh, man, that was the best.
Those were awesome. We're dating ourselves.
Yeah, sadly. I was going to go into detail what a VHS was, but you're right. We are dating.
And all those people are like, what are they talking about? A VHS.
VH what?
This week at all Record Bar outlets, a new dimension of sight and sound. Scotch EG all-purpose video cassettes L750 or T120, only $4.99. Scotch EXG video cassettes unsurpassed color L750 or T120, only $7.99. Scotch video head cleaner, the sure way to clean VCR heads, beta or VHS, only $14.99. On sale now at all Record Bar outlets.
But yeah, Quibi, check it out, I guess, if you want. It's there. That'll bring us to trailers. You first. Well, you know what? Actually, we talked. I apologize.
Yeah, we have
rolled out of the tongue.
A special announcement. We have a dual trailer.
Wow. So we did an episode, which to fault of my own, the audio was kind of messed up on the Train to Busan. Fantastic. Is it okay to say Asian zombie film?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Asian zombie film. Pretty amazing. And the sequel has just what we think is the sequel. Train to Busan Presents Peninsula. The trailer for that is out now. And I gotta tell you, it reminded me of what Alien and Aliens did. So Alien was this horror movie, that kind of kept you isolated to yourself, to the characters anyway, to themselves, and they were hunted down one by one. This one feels that same way. The train was the main part of that movie. It was kind of isolated. The zombies were all around them. Yeah, they broke out at the end, whatever. But then you got aliens. And it's Marines brought in and fucking, what's the chick's name? Vasquez, you son of a bitch. Came over, man, and all that stuff. And they're shooting, multiple. Mm-hmm. And so I got that same feel with this one, because now it's like, oh, now we're going into a military team, and now they're going down their fucking fight clubs where they fight against zombies and shit. Mm-hmm. What do you think of this one?
That's a really interesting take on it. That's not what I got from it. I just saw it didn't really seem like it was associated with Train to Busan. It almost feels like they're just using the name, but it does have some similarities with the hordes of zombies moving really quick, which is very World War Z-ish. But it kind of just reminded me of almost like a Mad Max meets the Hunger Games meets a zombie movie type combo, and it just looks to me, I'm ready to watch this one. I don't know, I'm just a sucker for it, I guess, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's especially for the whole zombie franchise. It is kind of getting played out a little bit. It is a little, you do get a lot of similar ones where they just don't shine like they should, and then you get stuff like this. You get Train to Busan, which just did an amazing job.
Oh, fantastic. If you have not seen that, go watch Train to Busan.
It just reinvigorated the whole zombie thing for me. It's just one of those movies. So yeah, this is, it's not quite I'm not really trying to associate it with the other one, because I don't feel like it's going to be on the same page. But I hope it's its own thing that's just as good.
And that's where I was coming from, like with that whole, because those could have been two different movies, just Alien and Alien. But yeah, I just hope they don't go too Hollywood overboard with all the action and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Yeah, because the fun was those characters in that first one, the way they handled everything and the dialogue between them all, and yeah. But yeah, I'm glad we both chose that one. That one is pretty good. You should check that one out. It should be up on the site, I believe. But yeah, fun times there. That's gonna bring us to Swallow. Watchbot, if you would not mind.
A young housewife in a seemingly perfect marriage develops pica, the irresistible urge to ingest inedible objects and material. Director Carlo Mirabella Davis. It stars Haley Bennett, Austin Stoll, and a host of others. I wish that I had a mouth in which to swallow things.
Thank you, Watchbot. Where do we start with this one, man?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
I guess so. As Watchbot said, this woman has, and I probably should have looked up the actual ailment.
Yeah. We'll just call it a disturbing behavior.
Yeah. MTV had a show, I think it was MTV or VH1, one of those two, had a show where they tackled things like this, where some girl ate paint chips.
Yeah, there's one on now that's like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a thing that happens and it's real, but to see it depicted is pretty something. Mm-hmm. My first impressions of this thing, I love her performance, because from the start she didn't seem like No.
I mean, I'm in agreement with you.
She didn't seem like she fit in this world around her. She was like a 60s or 70s housewife, just kind of flighty and forlorn, and just trying to please her man by any means necessary.
Yes. And
it was just very well done by her. I enjoyed every moment, every scene with her in it. I freaking loved. Your first impressions of this one, sir?
Yeah, she definitely carried the movie. Like, from the very beginning, just watching her and her facial expression and how she portrayed her character, it was like the first thing that drew me in, because it was like so perfectly done. Like, I didn't feel like this person was acting. I mean, that's what you're striving for. You're looking for that genuine performance that seems so real that you can't take your eyes away from the film. She did an amazing job, and I was just blown away by it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was very well acted. But yeah, she stole the show, as she should. She's the main character. Now, this particular element, it started with the ice.
I don't know if it started with the ice or with the marble. I don't know what the first one was. She started because her mother-in-law gave her a book. I think it was a book.
Yeah.
And it was like, do one thing that surprises yourself every day or something like that. And then she was like, well, shit, I'm going to eat a marble. And I don't know where that, tied into it.
Remember, she was sitting at the kitchen table. Well, maybe that was after the marble. I don't know.
Yeah, the ice was after the marble.
Okay.
But they don't really tell us how long she had been doing this beforehand. They just introduce us to the marble situation. But I think the marble was the first, because she starts to display them after she eats them. So when they finally come out. So
let's talk about that. Let's say you're a husband.
All right.
And
I'm glad you didn't say this. Let's say you're a wife. I'm like, what? Thanks for the husband.
Oh. Then you suddenly start seeing little knickknacks appear on the dresser, a marble, a battery, Okay. Do you ask her, like, your wife, like, you got a new hobby or what's going on here? Or do you just let it go?
I don't know. It depends on how, I mean, it is kind of, it's different. I don't know. I don't know if you want, I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah.
It depends on the person you are and then the person you married.
That's for sure. There is a part where he's like, this is the kind of thing you tell somebody before they marry. I don't know. I think I would be like, hey, you new hobby? You want me to get you some trinkets or you want to be sensitive about it because it is your wife, but at the same time, I would feel like I would need to ask something. Mm-hmm. My mind wouldn't go to she's eating these and pooping them out. Yeah.
That would be the last thing you would think of.
That would be the furthest thing from my mind. It would be she's eating these and pooping them out. And then displaying them for the world to see. Look what I pooped. Look at it. Yeah. So,
and we make fun, but I don't want anybody to take us the wrong way. We make fun, but obviously this is a serious thing. This is a real thing. And I think the fact that the people who made this movie wanted to tackle this issue was super brave, very interesting. And like, it's one of the parts of the movie that I enjoy the most because it's not your everyday typical subject matter. They actually, they went for it. And I appreciate that.
Give us a very first-hand look into what someone is this a mental illness or
it's like a mental compulsion, like they can't help themselves. So it's like any addiction. It's like any, you can't, whatever part of your brain is like triggered to do this. You got to fight it or you get, you're going to end up in some trouble because you could obviously die from this if you swallow the wrong thing. They mentioned the battery was the perfect example. You can swallow the battery. If it ruptures, you're in trouble. So.
Dude, at one point, they show her collection of evacuated.
Mm-hmm.
That last one?
Yes.
There is no way.
It was huge. That had to have been paid.
No way.
Oh my God. I know. I thought the same thing when I saw that. And then.
Go ahead.
And spoilers, she does get her stomach evacuated at some point during the movie, and I thought that, well, actually more than once. And then I love the way they contrasted her collection and then what they pulled out of her, how they lined it up on the tray.
Yeah.
That was a great moment. To see a disturbing moment. When I say great and awesome and all that kind of stuff about this movie, I don't necessarily mean like that's great that she had all this stuff in her stomach. I mean it's great in the sense of from a movie standpoint. Like that was shocking. It drew you into the movie. It made you cringe. Every time she swallowed something, I don't know if you did this. Like I can watch a movie with like an alien jumping out of somebody's chest and giggle. Mm-hmm. I'll chuckle to myself, like, aha. And, but this, when she swallowed them, I was like, any of that stuff, I was like cringing. I was like, you can't swallow that. What are you doing? And I was like almost feeling it going down my throat too. And it's just a weird thing to have a movie about this subject matter and it makes you cringe as opposed to like aliens bursting out of a chest or zombies eating your brain. It's just, it's different. It's
gain your knowledge.
Yes. Got to get that knowledge.
No, I agree. The push pin scene, and I love the way they did that because it's like you said, you can't eat that, silly. Spit that out. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. But she, spoilers was already said, but she gets the pin out of the vacuum cleaner and just pop. And then of course the pin pokes her in the tongue, so she spits down, puts it on the table. And this is after eating several other things, this is actually, I think, the second thing we see her eat.
Yeah.
But she then sits there for a while and there's some amazing shots of the pin and, they don't clean up the saliva, which is, I know it sounds disgusting, but it just adds something to the scene. So you see that and it's just sitting there and then she just glances over at it. And it's just this quiet moment between her and that
Right. It's just
and she just goes back, runs back around. And like, and just like the first time with the marble, as soon as she gets that thing down her throat, it's like this smile comes on her face. Like,
yes.
I don't know if it's demented or is that the right word or they're satisfied. It's just, like I did
it's
this.
The weirdest. It's the weirdest thing, and that's what's so great about the movie. This stuff is a mystery to us. They finally found something that's a mystery to most people. Unless you have this ailment or knew somebody that has this ailment, you don't know about it. So to see it, for most people for the first time, it's like a super disturbing, weird, interesting thing. So I think that's again something that adds to the movie.
Agreed.
I just don't understand the ailment at all still, even after watching the movie. Like, I can understand the compulsion, part of it, but I could be like, can't you just trick yourself and eat some peanuts or something? Like, you're not really, you know what I mean? Like, every time you feel like you got to eat a marble, it's like, just, eat a bag of nuts. And you're
just like,
or ice. That would be the perfect thing, because it's like a solid and then it would just melt. And so you're fine on the insides. It's just, I don't know.
Paint it to look like something else.
Yeah, I guess.
Just to help trick your mind,
Mm-hmm.
You think it's like babies. Babies will put anything in their mouth. You think it's just like an unevolved version of that?
I don't even want to even speculate, because I know I'm going to end up sounding stupid, which I do anyway, but it's okay. I don't think so. I think it came from something else, but I don't know why that particular activity is what became the compulsion. It's just, again, it's such a mystery that it adds to the whole, the draw, the appeal of the movie.
Yes, 100% agreed. It's and appealing it is. It's never boring. Never. You don't want to turn away because you're afraid you're gonna miss it. And we're just scraping the surface. Like, there's a lot more going on than her just eating.
Mm-hmm.
Eating things. The relationship with her and her husband, husband's family.
Yeah, that whole family was just super controlled. And I'm sure there's a metaphor somewhere in here where they're talking about, her swallowing something. And then, the way the mother-in-law was like, are you faking it or are you happy? All that stuff. And then, finally the ending, I think speaks volume. Actually, the ending was so amazing for me. I actually sat there.
Let me go, before you get there real quick, let me go to the mother. The question, I've never hit a woman, nor will I ever. But to sit in somebody's face and say, what did you do before my husband married you and made you rich? It's like, what?
Yeah, there's some cruelty there. And she just, for lack of a better word, swallows it all instead of, spitting it back in their face. Yeah. She just takes it. And I think that's part of, again.
I have with the metaphor there,
yeah. Slapped it.
You said about the ending, sir.
Oh, I was just going to say the ending for me was, I'm not, without giving anything away, because there's a lot of stuff you could talk about there where some people would consider certain things wrong and whatnot. I don't even want to go down that road, but I just want to say from a character development standpoint, that was a huge leap for her, even though it could be argued it was bad. From a character standpoint, that was a huge leap for her. And I had to just sit there through all the credits watching all these women coming in and out of that bathroom, because I was just I didn't want to get up, because I was just sitting there. This was a great movie, And
I think that's something else. She hadn't done really anything for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And swallowing those things were each little accomplishments for her. And I think the larger the thing she swallowed, the happier she got. And then, like you said, that was just like the moment of, wow, I can do things myself, like that doing, so.
There's a lot going on in there. There's a lot going on in this movie. You could just sit there and talk about certain aspects of it all day long, because it's just that in depth, that deep. I mean, it tackles multiple subjects, not just the swallowing compulsion. I mean, the daddy thing. Holy moly, that's something you don't see coming.
No,
without giving anything away, you don't see that coming.
Oh man,
where her own mom didn't really want, and you can understand why, to an extent, but didn't really want her, anything to do with her, yet was still super polite about it. You know, it's just there's just so much going on in this movie. You could just sit and talk about it forever. It's that in depth and that good.
Agreed.
It is. I will warn people though. It isn't one of those super fast developing, you know, action flicks that everybody loves to go see. You know, it's a slower build.
I don't think you're gonna feel good after this one.
No, it's not supposed to. You're not supposed to feel great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just
This whole movie is supposed to disturb and make you question things. And again, even the ending for her being a positive, more positive thing. I also felt, before I say that, I felt a sense of dread. I thought something really, really horrible was going to happen to her before the end of this movie. I thought she was going to die in this movie, but spoilers, I guess she doesn't. It's just, it's just, oh my God, it's just so much going on. It's a good movie. Good stuff.
Yeah. I have to agree. Everything was, hey, get that out of your mouth. Stop it.
I can't help it.
But yeah, it's just, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. And apologize. The last two episodes we've done, this one included, have been kind of bleak, not really happy ending movies. And I don't see it getting any better. But yeah, do you have the Rotten Tomatoes pulled up, good sir?
I do. And it is it's not too bad. The tomato meter is 89% certified fresh, and the audience score is 72%.
Oh damn! So nice, very nice.
So I like those numbers. I think it deserves higher on both sides, but I'll take it.
Agreed. But I think the only issue is not a lot of people know about this film. It's one of those little. Yes, you watch it. It's IFC Midnight, I believe. IFC.
Just IFC, IFC. Yeah. And again, they did it. Like I'm digging their movies. IFC.
Yep. So check them out. Give them a shout out. I will once I post this as well. But yeah, go watch or not for you, sir.
Absolutely, go watch.
Yes. Same here. There's no reason not to watch it. Well, unless you're squeamish or something like that.
Even then, you still need to watch it because it's going to bring awareness to a problem that not everybody knows about. It's going to make it not seem so weird and make the people who have the problem seem like the freaks when they're not. They just have a slight compulsion that they can get over. So it's a good thing you watch this. It's a good thing.
Yeah, because I don't think she was a freak.
No.
I think she just was looking for her place.
Mm-hmm. She had a lot of baggage.
Spoiler, one more time, spoiler. The dirt thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a completely different thing. Like, swallowing random objects is one thing, but the dirt thing is another. Like, that's, man. Yeah, well, anyway. You want to know more about all that, go watch this movie for sure. But yeah, that's episode 130. I think we've covered all we can without spoiling too much on this one, because hot diggity dog, is it a watch? It's a must watch. But yeah, that's everything. Unless you had something else to say about this one, sir.
What kind of a pickup line is "Can I have a hug"?
That is a drunk, horny, lonely man's way to cop a feel.
I don't know what's going on.
I say this from experience.
The first time he did it, I was like, okay, is he for real? Is he just a sad dude? Because he looks like he might be a sad dude. And then the second time, I'm like, oh, that's a pickup line. What's he doing? That's horrible. That's not how you meet somebody. What do I know?
Well, it depends on, anyway, that's episode 130. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Go watch a movie.
Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety split it. Go watch a movie.